how important is health to you? Probably pretty important. Everyone wants to be healthy, and if you're especially versed in a lot of exercise and health circles, it's very important. But if you're facing body image issues, that's due likely to diet culture, a harshly critical outlook on health and fitness. I myself have been involving myself in a lot of these circles and a lot of fitness, exercise, health circles and have noticed some concerning things. I've noticed diet culture being this entity in a lot of people's minds, leading to a lot of issues with self-esteem of yourself and the tendency to put down others for their body. I believe the state of diet culture is one that has an ultimately negative effect on everyone who wishes to participate in the fitness scene, and even those outside of the scene. I myself haven't always been in this scene, but even before then, I dealt with my own spout of body image issues. So I feel this, especially in recent years, with the rise of social media and a lot of public displays of diet culture. This is a pretty important topic to me. So today I will go over some ways I think the outlook on diet culture can be reevaluated, and some ways I think are better ways to go about health. And with that, I'll go right into what I believe the main problem is, which is that we need to abandon the current diet culture mindset. Diet culture ultimately leads to body image issues, which ultimately leads to discouragement due to a feeling of having made little progress due to unhealthy habits manifesting themselves, and which only repeats this cycle more. Expert on this topic Nadia Craddock tells Andy Tagle and Claire Marie Schneider of NPR, there's still, quote, there's still that very common error of equating health and thinness as one and the same, unquote, which I feel is very apt as thinness is the main desire to achieve, which leads to diet culture in the first place. Diet culture causing body image issues is a huge problem, not only to people in the scene but outside of it. A lot of adults and teenagers and even children are feeling these kinds of problems due to feeling as though they won't have a hard time achieving thinness or just a healthy body in general. So if we want to come up with a solution to the issue of diet culture, we would need to come up with a solution that removes this competition, this feeling of comparison, and replaces it with a focus on the fulfillment of the self, which leads into what I believe would be a very effective solution, which is to mainly approach health and fitness as though it were a hobby, like something like painting or swimming. This would take focus away from other people's opinions of you and focus that energy onto yourself. Maybe, for example, setting smaller goals and achieving progress over a slower period of time in a less public fashion and in a more self-fulfilling fashion. Malika Baldwin of Corporate Health Unlimited has a quote regarding this kind of example. Quote, you end up not reaching your 4-week goal of 20 reps but can still manage to pump out a challenging 15 reps, unquote, which I think is a really good example of how even smaller steps and smaller bouts of progress still leads to fulfillment and motivation to continue to become healthier. Criticism to this idea might include the idea that these kinds of smaller steps would lead to people taking the entire fitness scene less seriously and making slower progress and just not taking as good care of themselves as they could. And to that I say that small steps are still steps. Even if you only did 10 minutes of yoga and ate a single apple, you still did yoga and ate an apple. You still exercised and ate healthy respectively. Any progress is good progress. And with this idea in mind, I'd like to explain my vision for if this should and shouldn't work. If this kind of culture, this diet culture still manifests itself in everyone, then I think body image issues are going to only persist. As previously stated, the cycle's only going to continue. People will be unmotivated by their feeling of competition and still deal with these unhealthy habits. However, I think that if we do end up, in general, adapting this hobbyist mindset, I think healthy habits could be more easily encouraged, and more people, even those outside of the health scene, would want to become healthy themselves, since to them it's more accessible. And with that, I believe that is the extent of my critiques. So, in closing, I believe that diet culture should be severely edited and that there are better ways to get fit and healthy. As stated, I have experience with a lot of health and fitness and exposure to diet culture, and I know a lot of people who are very into the same scene as well. So, if you want some advice, talk to people you know about it. There's a good chance that you do know people if you're in high school still or even college. And I'd like to close this presentation on a quote from Baylor Scott and White Health of BSW Health. Quote, "You may find it hard to practice body respect, and that is 100% okay because it takes time and progress to grow. Time to process and grow, excuse me." So, in closing, I'd like to just say that nevertheless, I hope you stay healthy and have some fun with it. Thank you.